I've been keeping up with how much food these chickens are going through, and for roughly 50 chickens, I lost my marker this morning, roughly 50 chickens, we're up to 12 bags of feed, which is 600 pounds. These chickens were hatched roughly March the 1st, give or take a day or two, so they're just over 6 weeks old. Go get him. She's just cleaning up what I spilled out here. Now you can run her in. You got her.
Yeah.
I have to fill up those 2 feeders more than once during the day because they go through it so fast. If I ever do this many chickens again, I think I'm going to invest in another feeder. Let's see how big they are real quick. Is Betty cleaning it up?
Yeah, basically.
Now the bucket is zeroed out, so that's the actual weight. So we're looking at 5 1/4 pounds.
Dad, why don't you put chicken in the bucket?
5 pounds of growth in 6 weeks seems pretty remarkable to me. You gonna get the water out of the bucket?
Yeah. I can't do it.
We'll use the tractor, okay?
Okay.
Pretty soon those chickens are gonna have to move on to the great chicken tractor in the sky, and that means I need a place to process them. Last year I basically did it out in the yard and used this table. This year I want to have a proper spot to do it, and my first thought was to build another shed on the back of this shed. But then I decided I really didn't like that idea very much. So the plan now is to wall up this spot right here between the sawmill and where I keep the tractor and put a sink right here. There's already a water line right here up under the ground, and it won't be anything to run it right over here. We'll have to put a drain out into the woods, of course, but that'll give me a really good spot with electricity and lights up under the shelter, in the shade, in the dry, to process chickens, and plenty of room on top of that. And plus my dad's got a really nice sink that he's gonna give me. Hey, you want to see how much is in there?
Can't do it yet. Just a little bit in this bucket.
I had somebody comment on a previous video and warn me that people might get attached to these pigs. So real quick, let's go over what these pigs are for. What you doing? You grounding out my fence? Did you get my fence grounded out? Yeah, you did. If you want to get attached to one, that is the one to get attached to right there. This is Sue. Hey, Sue. The other ones are just temporary residents. My hope was that these pigs would root up this entire spot out here, but they really seem to be drawn to this spot over here right next to the fence. You can see the difference there. So I think what I'm going to do eventually is just move the whole thing over this way, because there seems to be prime rooting ground right in here. It is past time to clean this chicken coop out. If anybody's got some ideas on how to fix this little problem here, this chicken right here has been broody for about 2 months now, and I don't know how to stop her. This is the brooder that I used for those 15 laying hens that we raised out, and they're not in here anymore, so it's time to put this up. Thank you.
What?
I can't believe he's keeping this up. That shovel's heavy. Do you want me to take over?
I do.
It's not that big of a pile, but I'll let this sit here for at least a little while and maybe compost some, and it'll make really good fertilizer for the garden or whatever. You can see where I had the old pile before I used it. You see how green that grass is as compared to the same exact grass over here? Really, really good fertilizer. Really, y'all, if anybody has got some tips on how to get this chicken unbroody, I would really appreciate it. She has been like this for at least 2 months, and I take her eggs away, I take her off, and I put her out there in the chicken yard with everybody else, but she goes right back to this nest immediately.
Do not keep our boards inside.
We're gonna see if we can get these planters, these 4 planters here, ready to put something in.
1, 2, 3.
Push, push. All right, thank you. We're gonna put some corn in this box here in a minute, but I want to show y'all something pretty cool first. It's a bluebird nest with 5 eggs. So I'm pretty excited to see how they do. So this bed, and this is the only bed we're gonna have time to plant today, unfortunately, but we're gonna put Silver Queen corn in this bed. And this is the first time I've attempted to grow corn in a bed like this. I have a friend that does it with a good deal of success. So I believe I can get maybe 16 plants in here, something like that, spacing them about 1 foot apart. Yeah, so I think it'll work just fine. These other beds have done great, and I'll show you all those once we get done with this. All right, Betty, you want to help?
Yeah.
All right, we'll come over here. All right, the first one can go right there. Can you put a seed in that hole? Can you cover it up?
Why do we need to cover it up?
You got to put dirt on top of seeds for them to grow. We'll water them when we're done, okay? Go right there.
That's
right
the same spot.
No, it's not. The last spot was right there. I'm thinking maybe 7 on each side, so 14 stalks.
Oops.
I think we can we put one more on here?
I put one more on here.
Why do you think?
Oh, because there's no more room.
That's right.
Okay.
I just accidentally ran Mama Bluebird off of the nest. She went into a pine tree. So far on these raised garden beds, I have been really happy. These tomatoes here are big. I'm gonna have to put a cage around them pretty soon, but they've already got some nice blooms on them. And I don't know if you can tell, but the stalk on this one is just about as big as my pinky there. So it is growing really fast. I believe this is a better boy right here, and I think all three of these are better boys in this particular bed. If you can see right here, this one got stung by some cold weather that we had. It got down to like 26 degrees a couple weeks, I think, after I planted these, and I put sawdust around them, or pine shavings, pine straw, buckets, anything I could find to protect them, and they did get stung a little bit, but they all survived. The stalk on this one is actually just a little bit larger. I think this is the tallest plant, and it is just over a foot tall already, so that's really good. We kind of got a head start and managed to managed to not lose any in the cold weather. This is a Roma 3 or La Roma 3 paste tomato right here. My wife really likes these for salads and stuff, and this is a super sweet 100, a little cherry tomato. These are really good. This one you can see got stung a little bit as well, but it's doing really well. It's growing nicely, and I'm really excited to see what this one does. These are our Brussels sprouts right here, and this is not something that I've ever grown before, but these are really taking off and doing well. And just like on the tomatoes, I've got these drip waterers, which helps me immensely as far as getting water right at the root of the plant. And it's so nice to be on the well up here, not having to haul gas and fight with the pump down there when I need to pump water up to the garden. I believe these three are also better boys. These two were potted plants, and that one right there was I think it was one of the suckers or one of the lower stems on one of these potted plants that I just stuck in the ground and kept watered, and it's finally taken off really well. We've still got other plans, of course, to plant some zucchini and some squash and probably some more corn. That's only 14 plants right there, and probably some sunflowers and stuff like that too. Only real issue that I've found with these garden beds so far is that when it gets wet and everything on the inside gets heavy and swells up with water, they tend to break like this, or the screws tend to break, as you can see right here. But it's not that big of a deal to fix. I've just got to go get some more screws and put it back together. I think the problem is that I was only putting one screw on the tops here just to save screws, but one screw is obviously not strong enough. There we go. So yeah, I'm really happy with this new setup that we have. I don't have time right now to get more dirt and fill these other three up. I'm probably just going to dump that last little bit that's in the bucket in one of these other ones. But I don't have time, unfortunately, today to do anything else with the garden. But I've found that this has made us more motivated to come out here because it's right here in the yard. Of course, we still got weeds because this is just topsoil that I used, but we're going to have weeds in the garden anyway. And it's just so easy. It's so much easier than the last setup. The pump down at the pond did a really good job, of course, pumping water up to the garden, but it was dirty water that was coming in, so it would mess up the seals on the pump. And if I didn't drain the water properly, a pipe would split during the winter time, and sometimes it would lose its prime and it burned gas. And it's a long way away from the house, and I mean, it grew a lot of food for us, but it was just kind of a hassle. And I'm really happy with the setup that we have now, and I think it looks really nice in the yard. It looks really cool. It gave me motivation to clean up this part of the yard when I moved all that lumber out of the way, and so far I just think it's a great success. But that's gonna do it for this video. I really appreciate y'all watching, and I will see y'all on the next one.